We're here with at CPAC Mexico with the president of mis amigos migrantes, pues aquí estoy.
Total catastrophe, and it is a crisis.
Of a child, right there. All these NGOs, you're fake. It is this, the crisis of children.
Good evening to all. How's everybody doing? Oscar Blue for Real America's Boys News. How's everybody doing? Good evening. It is Tuesday, April 8th. The time is 5:03 in the evening, West Coast time. How's everybody doing? Thank you so much for joining in. This is the coverage that we did in the war, in the middle war of Culiacan, Sinaloa. Before I move on, I would like to explain what is going on in Culiacan, and I will give like 5 minutes intro before I put the video on. There is a massive destruction of a war, and not only just two cartels going at it. It is the actual destruction of society. It is the actual destruction of psychological damage to the kids, to the society, to the community. It is the actual destruction of the children, the psychological trauma, the anxiety of the people of this psychological war, and also this cartel war that is going on in Culiacan for 5 months. And that the government stands in every morning conference and it says, we just accomplished this, we just accomplished that. Why do you go in there and finish the work? Why don't you just go in there and eliminate and eradicate the problem? We all know why. So we took the decision upon ourselves to make a contact in Culiacan, Sinaloa. To go to Culiacan, you have to be with, experienced journalist that knows the area, that is a serious journalist, and that ultimately he is a professional journalist that knows exactly what to do with ethical, behavior, and ultimately, more than that, that knows exactly what is going to happen and exactly what we're going to do. My brother Ben Berquam and myself, I told him, Ben, we need to go to Culiacan. We need to broadcast this. It is the aftermath of what is happening, and it is more now than ever that we need to label these organized groups as terrorists. Not only they are terrorists, they're beyond terrorism. They're beyond terrorists. So before we go on, like the video, share the video, like the video, hit that bell button on YouTube, hit that like button on Facebook, hit that X button so we can get more people on the live feed. Before I start the compilation of videos of this 48-minute, almost 50-minute video that I put in together of all the information that we gathered when we were in Culiacan, Sinaloa. Special thank you for the journalists that we contacted in Culiacan, to Aaron Ibarra, that is writer for a most well-known, decorated outlet that is called a journal that is called Proceso. I wish that I can have the opportunity, like you, brother, to write for Proceso, but you are an extremely capable journalist to do that, and you are extremely well and talented for your job. And it was so nice of him to receive us, to give us the opportunity, because it's not just receiving people, it's just to give you the opportunity to work with these people, because they don't work with typical average people. They're really meticulous about their job, and it is because of the level of insecurity that they deal with every single day. Me and Ben Berquam took the decision to go over there to Culiacan, Sinaloa, to broadcast and to basically showcase to everybody, of every single one of you, what it is going on with this cartel war. That is basically, if the Democrats And if the progressive liberals and if the progressive liberalism in the United States of America would have won the elections, this would have been your city. And I'm not even exaggerating. I'm not even, lying about it. This would have been your city. This could have been your city. And this would be your city as it is right now. Why? Because it is a normalization of illicit and illegal conduct in our society that now Mexicans are accustomed to say, well, it's another shooting. Well, there was another decapitation. Well, there's another dismembered body. Well, there's another missing individual. It's another one in the list. What do we care? This is our coverage. As I said to you guys before, I'm being censored right now. So share the video, like the video. Help me out, people. Share the video, like the video for us to basically get more people involved in this video before I start. Because when I start, there's people that are going to come in here and say, like, what is this about? What is going on? So I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to say, go back and watch it, because it's a level of disrespect for people that they have been waiting since I said this yesterday that I was going to go live at 5 o'clock in the evening, West Coast time. I even posted 2 hours before that I was going to go live and show you this. So 3 people are involved on this exposure. Ben Berquan, my colleague, Aaron Ibarra, journalist for Proceso, and myself. We are involved on this. What we're going to show you and what I'm going to show you is the aftermath of this war. What has caused this war? The collateral damage, psychological damage, the anxiety. How is this collapsing the economical infrastructure in Culiacan? How is this collapsing the businesses? How is this collapsing, everything that is going on in Culiacan? So I will play the video. I'm going to get out of the camera. And what I want you guys to do, is just to type 1 as soon as you hear the audio of the video. Please type the number 1 on the live feed. And I will let the live feed go. That means that the audio, it is good in the video. So I want you guys to listen up again before I go and before I press, the video. Please type 1 if you can hear the video as soon as I put the video on. Okay? God bless you guys. Hope that you can enjoy the video. Here we go to Culiacan, Sinaloa, to basically do the reporting in a war zone, which it is already being categorized as that. We are about to arrive in a couple of hours over there. We're about to arrive in an hour and some fraction of minutes. The flight is really short from City of Mexico to over there. Basically report on the actual situation and the situation which the people of Culiacan are living and going through right now due to this war that is going on between these 2 cartels, which are aggravating and they are assaulting basically the city. Why the government hasn't done that is a question that we are about to find out. And also there has been a curfew implemented in the city of Culiacan that is actually, one of the things that is aggravated. They have been assassinated. Also influencers that they work for the opposition of the cartel. Difficult, but where we're going to show you the reality and truth of the news like no other network.
De itinerario, disfruten la estancia. Operators Friday, welcome to Culiacan International Airport. Last temperature 67 Fahrenheit. As usual, in air Mexico connect.
Oscar Blue, Real America's Voice News with my brother Ben Berquan. We came all the way down here to Culiacan, Sinaloa, where the war, the cartels, it is located between Los Chapitos and Los Mayitos, a war that has escalated and that has left more than 1,000 people died under this attacks and massive attacks. They're fighting over territory, Also, more than 6 influencers have been killed in the part of Culiacan. That tells you the level of insecurity of informing the reality of what is happening. We're going to be right here for a few days, informing to all of you what is the reality and truth of the actual war that is taking place in the part of Culiacan, where the epicenter happens. Cartels need to be designated as terrorists, as they need to be categorized as them, as they have terrorized the citizens of Culiacan. Even a curfew has been implemented in the city where people do not go out late at night due to the level of violence and insecurity. Giving you guys a reality of news in the next incoming days. Keep watching. In every part of the city of Culiacan, you will see houses that they were marked by the cartel as they have executed somebody from the opposition in that particular area. We made a connection with one of the most decorated journalists in the city of Culiacan. His name is Aron Ibarra. He is a writer for one of the most important journals in our country of Mexico, Revista Proceso, as he was explaining to us how the streets have become ghost towns from 4 o'clock in the evening all the way to the next day at 7 o'clock in the morning.
This past week were 37 persons murdered. I mean murder, I mean dead by gunshot.
And this is all from the cartel battles?
Absolutely. At least most of them are related with this cartel violence.
How insecure is it to live down here?
Well, you are driving through one of the most famous streets here in Culiacan. This is El Malecón Nuevo. It's like one of the most popular places where people come and drive through, eat some local snacks, and it's all alone. It's not that early, it's not that late, but it's alone, and that's kind of not normal.
Nobody comes out.
But that's, I mean.
So this is all is this like different factions of narco here?
Yeah, here's like Narco City. So we're paralyzed like, I don't know.
Yeah, I love this where you got the electrified fencing.
Yeah.
They got beautiful walls. We talk about this in Juarez. You know, they talk about the wall on our southern border. They don't want that. But all the cartels have walls. They all have weapons. They all have protection. But they don't want us to have it. Is it dangerous filming down here?
We're talking right now, just explaining Aron that he's a journalist from for La Revista Proceso, one of the most decorated, and recognized journals in our country of Mexico. They just received an alert about 2 people that they just have been assassinated close by from here. This is the actual violence that is continuing again, that is escalating again. He was telling us that it decreased a little bit and then has increased just in the past week, more than 37 murders. That talks about that 5 people are being murdered every 24 hours. There's the level of aggressiveness again by the cartel and the organized crime in the city of Culiacan. It is nonstop and it's constant. We're going over there to show you the reality of this. It's only 5 o'clock in the evening, and already the majority of the businesses are closed. This is what the cartel war has caused: an economical disaster to local businessmen, entrepreneurs, mom and pop businesses. They are closing at early hours and opening up in late hours because of the cartel violence, the abductions, the dismembered bodies, and the continuous shootings in the streets have made the people to internally adapt to a curfew to go home. Military operations also in the middle of the streets, you will see this. But the majority of the times you will see at your normal average wall gunshots of multiple confrontations between cartels. Local banda musicians, now they play on the stoplights and on the streets to gather money. Why? Because there is no nightlife. It is non-existing. The cartel has hijacked the security late at night And this is one of the reasons why local musicians are now standing in the middle of the day playing their music and asking for money in the corners for people to help them. There is no nightlife. There is no celebrations. The cartel has completely taken over the nightlife. Well, we can get accustomed to everything, but not the only reason is not to eat. We have to work to eat. So this is one of the reasons that we have done. We have come into the corners and play music and see if people want to collaborate and help us. All of this, it is because of the insecurity. We don't have no jobs late at night. We cannot play at the parties late at night because of the insecurity. So we have to get accustomed to this. One of the leaders of the organized crime assassinated brutally by the cartel. His head was cut off and it was left right here in the back of this sidewalk. We are in Culiacan, Sinaloa, where the war continues between these two cartels. In the past week, 36 homicides, which means that 5 people per day have been killed and assassinated due to the confrontations between the cartel Los Chapitos and Los Mallitos. The security, it is escalated. It is on a red alert, the whole city. On a curfew between 8 and 9 o'clock, the people go back home and they do not transit through the area of Culiacan. The sad thing about it is that affecting the citizens and the businesses greatly in the city of Culiacan. After 8 o'clock at night, there is no nightlife. International businesses, restaurants, nightclubs, everything is closed. The internal curfew that the population has taken over, it is because of the level of insecurity and the gunshots and the confrontations of the cartel had made the population go home after 7 or 8 o'clock at night. It has greatly affected the economy, and it has created a level of anxiety to the population, of insecurity and psychological trauma. It is like a ghost town due to the cartel violence in Culiacan.
This is Paseo El Ángel. This little street used to be closed for cars, and people had to walk through this street. So all the places here took out his tables, and people drink and eat, and there's a constant party. But it's no more, as you can see. There's no people, places to have a drink, have a beer. They're all alone or shut down. This is a karaoke bar. The next corner, it's another bar. It's only like 8 people. I don't know. So it's so sad to see this place like this. Even in Sundays, it's like normal to see people here, but there is no people.
We are located in one of the most transit areas. It's supposed to be one of the most busiest areas in Culiacan. This is how it looks. Looks like a ghost town. This used to be La Banda, you know, traditional music of Mexico playing, photographs, full with people. Right now, because of this cartel war that is going on, it has incited to this. The businesses are locked out. Everything is closed. It has affected the economy, the lives of the families, the lives of the children. It completely has changed the life right here in Culiacan. It looks like a ghost town. This was one of the most important avenues in the city of Culiacan. When the cartel war started, every citizen adapted to an internal curfew to go back home at 7 or 8 o'clock at night. It has completely affected the businesses, has completely affected the entrepreneurs, has completely affected tourism, has completely affected the lives of the citizens. A lot of jobs have been lost. What is the government of Culiacan doing to bring back to peace to the Culiacan people after this cartel war that it has a collateral effect into what is happening inside of the United States? If the Democrats would have been in government, or if the leftist progressives would have been in government, take a look, United States of America. This would have been your city. This could have been your city. On the next day, another protest, but in the city of Culiacan. The problem that has been exacerbated and it has been growing in the country of Mexico. Missing people, kidnapping people, abductions of people. This is a regular problem. Just recently, an extermination camp was found in the part of Jalisco that it was completely directed to the CJNG cartel. On this side, you will see a former police officer that it was abducted with her child and it was kidnapped. And today, citizens took the protest all the way to the fiscal general of the state to tell the fiscal general of the state, we want them back home. This is a former police officer, a retired police officer, that it was abducted by the cartel and kidnapped by the cartel, and now the family members are looking for them. This is not a problem that happens only in the central parts of the country of Mexico or in the north borders. This is a normalization of citizens getting adapted to people getting kidnapped, abducted, and then gone missing for months, and sometimes never found again. We want them back home. That's what we want. I'm afraid to go to school. I'm afraid to take my child to school. I'm afraid to go with my child to every place. It's like the same attack that happened to the past 12-year-old that her life was taken away. The fiscal general of the state and the government said that it was a direct attack by the cartel. So what does that mean? That they were directly attacked a 12-year-old? How safe can you be? A retired cop, a woman who was kidnapped with her daughter, and they are looking for them. This is a protest in the fiscal general right here in Culiacan. They're missing. They got kidnapped by the organized crime, the cartel, and now they have protested right here outside. This is the actual violence, insecurity that Mexico is living right now through the cartel activity and to the multiple kidnappings and everything else that evolves, giving power to the organized crime. They came here to protest to see if they can find any solutions for the kidnapping of the retired police officer and her daughter. This tells you that everything that is happening around the country with missing people and these collective groups that they are dedicated now to search for their family members in rural areas where the cartel creates these massive mass graves. And, they recently found an extermination camp in Jalisco. This continues to happen. This is at a daily basis. Not only happens in the north parts of the country, but in the south parts of the country. This river bands that you see right here in the back, right here on these trees, is all the people that they have been gone missing. And the family members have come over here and put these river bands on these trees to just let the fiscal general to know that they are still looking for them. How unbelievable has been that the insecurity in the country of Mexico, these collective groups are the ones that they're responsible for recovering their family members. Not too far away from this area, an inspection point that was located by the National Guard, where the cartel was competing between each other of dropping bodies and delivering bodies in a specific point. Now the National Guard has taken over this place to secure the area for the citizens as the cartel was dismantling, dismembering, and dropping bodies specifically in one location. We're located at one of the inspection points in Culiacan, Sinaloa. I'm right here with Proceso journalist Aaron Ibarra. Aaron, this place used to be one of the dumping body places, a really conflictional, confrontational highway, and now it's secured by the National Guard.
Yeah, this began on September 9th. Those days, every day, we found out that they dump bodies over here. If they were from La Chapitza or the Chapitos, they dump them with a pizza slice or a pizza box. But if they were from Los Mayos, they were dumped with a hat on. So they're sending message to each other. So that's another level of the war. Escalated at that level that Guardia Nacional has this permanent post 24/7. Since then, there's no more body dumping here.
It affected all the businesses in the neighborhood and the security of everybody.
There is an amusement park in front of us, just across the way, and it's closed since September. I mean, like 7 months.
We're located in one of the most dangerous places in Culiacan. This was the middle parts of the proxy war between these two cartel organizations, Los Mayitos and Los Chapitos. Behind me, you can actually see some candles of where they used to dump the bodies of these particular organizations. Right here, because of that, they put a National Guard inspection point on both sides. And immediately when we arrived over here, the most incredible thing happened. They started rushing towards us, the National Guardsmen, with their guns pointing exactly almost to us, saying, "What are you doing over here?" That tells you that the level of insecurity, it is on a high note. It is extremely insecure to be here on these particular places because it's an agitated place where they used to dump the bodies. In this particular location, it used to be like a sending message to the other cartel of what they were doing and who was winning this proxy war in Culiacan. The tension, you can feel it in the air on this inspection point as citizens are being well and meticulously inspected as they are moving forward into the north side of the city. We talked to two of the National Guardsmen for them to explain why they put this inspection point and how it is affecting the businesses around this neighborhood. This point of inspection was located on this area to locate illegal vehicles that they are carrying weapons and to also assure the security of the citizens of this neighborhood. Half a kilometer from this distance, there is a cartel cemetery, and you will be amazed as soon as you go in. This is the way that these cartel kingpins, when they passed away, how there are graves are being constructed and made and built. They look like mausoleums. They look like houses. This is the way that these kingpins are celebrated after they passed away. We're going to step into this cemetery that is just dedicated to the cartel kingpins. We're going to be completely shocked and surprised of how they prioritize the burials of these leaders and these kingpins. Their graves are not just typical average graves. They look like castles. They look like homes. This is the way that they honor these leaders and these kingpins and drug lords that they are located right here in Culiacan. Just take a look at this, and you will be completely in shock of all that is magnified and how they glorify these people that they were buried right here in this particular cemetery.
communication.
Almost in every cartel-run neighborhood, you will see a Santa Muerte shrine. This is a statue that the cartel and the narco-culture has adapted to make offerings, for good offerings or for bad and evil offerings. In the majority of the cartel-run neighborhoods, you will see this on the side of the sidewalk and also at a bus station. But you will actually see it in every single cartel-run neighborhood. This narco-culture has adapted for this evil figure to be glorified on some particular places. The Jesus Malverde Chapel, it is another figure. They refer to him as a Mexican bandit and a folklore hero from Sinaloa, Mexico, often called as the Generous Bandit. Also, you will see in this chapel figures of the Santa Muerte next to Jesus Christ and other Catholic figures. This is a narco culture, as a lot of the narco culture figures, they come and do massive offerings. And also, the population of Culiacan has adapted this individual as a generous bandit or as the Robin Hood of Sinaloa to provide for miracles as they do their offerings.
I don't know. He's random people who ask for a favor.
We're not too far away from a division that turns into a Y to El Pozo, where Los Chapitos basically controls this area. And you see right here behind us a shrine of La Santa Muerta. This is one of the absolute demonic and satanic figures that a lot of the narco cartel leaders or campaigns or believers, they actually give or all of their beliefs to this.
Just kilometers after this Santa Muerte shrine, in the mountains, there is a town called Imala. This town was recently taken over by Los Mallitos. This territory was from Los Chapitos. They entered this little town of Imala and they tried, Los Mallitos, to take over a recreational area where they were recruiting the young and the men to actually join the Mallito forces and to fight against the Chapitos. This little town, as a lot of other little towns, they have been taken over oftenly by both sides of the cartel, threatening the young men and also the men. If they will not join their cartel forces, they will be kidnapped or forced to join them. After weeks of these particular cartel taking over this little town, the citizens started calling the government to help them. So the military came over and took over back the security of the citizens. Now the military, it is installed and they have an encampment inside of the recreational area. We talked to one of the citizens to explain to us what happened when this cartel took over of this town.
We are located in a little municipal city that is called Imala. This place was hijacked and kidnapped by Los Mallitos. They were searching for Los Chapitos. This is actually Los Chapitos territory. And they held hostage this little town for quite some time. There was a small war that was going on right here. The government and the military came over to rescue the town. And basically, they were saying, the government, we are going to leave. We already assured you. But the people said to them, if you leave, we know what is going to happen. They're going to come back and try to take us over. This is the actual town. It actually looks calm right now, but it is the actual war zone as how these two criminal organizations, they're fighting over territory, fighting over land, and fighting absolutely at who has the stronger issue in the part of Culiacan.
It was really difficult and it was really hard. At first, we were really scared. We were coming back to our houses and we saw multiple individuals with long artillery weapons and also vehicles that they were heavily armed. So we did not know what could happen to us. Every local business was closed because everybody was practically avoiding to go out because of the cartel they were recruiting the men. So the community adapted themselves to say only the women are the ones that they are going out because they were kidnapping the men. Yes, there were two convoys of heavily armed men. And the second convoy, they started shooting to the sky to tell every citizen, do not come out. And they were telling us, if you come out, it is under your responsibility. They were heavily armed. They were more heavily armed than the own military of Mexico. On the back of their trucks, they were carrying boxes of cartridges of different weapons and equipment. They were really heavily equipped as they were going to a war.
A few miles from north from here, a place called Tomo was at this big gunfight between the cartel. So the people, the villagers, just ran away because of the violence. 2 weeks after that confrontation, the army found this drone with an explosive, which is another way to make war between these groups from the cartel. That just happened 2 weeks ago.
So this is the recreational area who was taken over by this organized crime, Los Mallitos. It was taken over. Now the military has possession of it. They allow us to come in to record and to basically show the reality of how these criminal groups were taking over little parts like in Imala. It looks like Bajo Chiquito.
Yeah, exactly.
This is how it affects the businesses. You know, this is another thing that we have been consistently saying. This war between these two cartels has, pushed the population to do a curfew at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night, go back to their homes. This is a really beautiful hot spring location where it was taken over by the opposition of the cartel, and now it is taken over by the military. And they try to reactivate this recreational area for people to come across from all parts of the country to enjoy this beautiful place. But, because of the level of violence and insecurity, it cannot reactivate. It has to stay this way.
About this confrontation up north from here, a place called Tomo.
Everywhere you go in Culiacan, there has been a confrontation between the two rival cartels or with the National Guard. Right here at this particular gas station that is really on a transit boulevard, two National Guard officials were gunned down by the organized crime and the cartel.
You can see the debris of gunshots on every side of the wall. As the confrontation was extremely agitated, the National Guardsmen were ambushed. The gas station released a video to the population that it was pretty disturbing of how the National Guardsmen lost their lives on this confrontation against the organized crime and the cartel.
And as you see on the video, two National Guardsmen right here laying down at that horrible confrontation. This is the way you live right here in Culiacan, where you never know when the confrontation will going to escalate or start.
Next stop, it was the Governmental Palace. Apparently, the governor of Culiacan, Mr. Rocha, has been hiding on the third floor of the governmental palace safeguarded by the military and the National Police of Culiacan. Meanwhile, the citizens are suffering insecurity. The governor, it is hiding on the third floor.
Behind me is the Governmental Plaza in Culiacan, where you're not going to believe this. The governor of Sinaloa, it is safeguarded in the third floor. He doesn't want to go home. Why he doesn't want to go home? Because he's afraid of the cartels. His family is also safeguarded in another place, and he is safeguarded in the third floor right here in the governmental palace. Meanwhile, the citizens are suffering from this cartel war between these two delinquent organizations who are terrorizing the citizens. Businesses are losing a lot of money. Entrepreneurs are not exercising their entrepreneurship. Schools are being attacked. Anxiety attacks over the citizens. And not only that, the children, the schools are doing exercises to prevent shootouts. The governor of Culiacan, it is in here, safeguarded, protected, and waiting for this war to end. We're walking to the governmental palace where the governor of Culiacan is located, and it is safeguarded and protected by the own military of Mexico. It is amazing that he has the right to safeguard himself, but his obligation is to serve the Culiacan people. And meanwhile, the Culiacan people are running away from fear. They fear themselves that something is not going to be right every day. And ultimately, the insecurity level grows and grows and grows. Meanwhile, he's safeguarded in this huge building. The average citizens have to deal with the shootings and the battle of this war in the cartel.
We try to enter through the third floor to try to ask the governor why is he hiding and why is he not coming out to defend the Culiacan people. And we were stopped by security, and they told us journalists are not allowed to go to the third floor.
So we try to enter, we try to go in where the governor, it is safeguarded. The guards on the door told us right now that that cannot happen. The person in charge of communications needs to talk to us, which is, everybody goes in, but journalists, they don't want to let them go in to where the governor, it is safeguarded, because possibly he's going to get exposed for what he is doing, that he is the only citizen in the whole state of Culiacan who is actually safeguarded by the military in the governmental palace. That's how, you have levels of protection also in our country.
2 children were assassinated by the cartel, as the cartel made a mistake thinking that that was the father that was involved in some illicit activity with the other cartel, that they are at war. We attended the elementary school where these 2 children used to go every day, as they were assassinated by mistake, supposedly, by the organized crime.
This is the other level of violence in Culiacan. A shooting of 2 kids, not in this school, far away from the school. They used to attend this school. They were at a baseball game. They confused them and they killed 2 of them, and they killed the father. These 2 young kids are right here. They used to go to this school, and it says, "Mourning for our kids," and you see the Black River Band in the back. What it tells you is the level of violence, how it has increased in schools, also in young kids, as the cartel doesn't even know how to identify who is guilty and who is not. And they start shooting whoever they feel that is the guilty part. How it has affected the schools, how they do emergency exercises for shootings, and ultimately also emergency exercises for these kind of shootings inside of the school. They tell them how to duck, how to put their hands in the head. This is a normalization of an illicit and illegal conduct in our country, and it goes beyond the psychology of a child to normalize this attitude, and this is the kind of atmosphere that he needs to live in.
More than 7 influencers have been assassinated by the cartel. The speculation it is that they're using them to funnel money and money laundering through their blogging channels, not only through these influencers, but also to record companies and musical figures around the globe. Marquitos Toys is one of the influencers that has been targeted, and his whole family. Just one day before us leaving to Culiacan, his brother was assassinated in the part of Ensenada. Also, an aircraft months ago released banners in the whole city of Culiacan informing the citizens that if you follow these influencers, you will be following their footsteps, telling them these influencers, they funnel money and they are part of the violence that is occurring to the city.
Why I think of that? Because it's people that are being used by one or the other side in a war, and definitely they are also victims. I mean, they're not criminals.
But they're basically it's a way for the cartel to funnel money.
Yeah,
Through them.
yeah. It's like a common thing that the cartel use the entertainment for ¿cómo dices blanquear?
Money laundering.
Yeah, for money laundering. I mean, they kind of support these people in order to make this laundry.
So some of the like the music that you listen to, and this is something we were talking about earlier. You've got to be careful who you support because your money might be going to supporting the cartels directly, huh?
Yes, indeed.
Not just through drugs, but even through the music you buy. And
Yeah, I mean, the ways cartel have for making money, it's so extensive. I mean, it's not only the drugs. It's they have these slots machines. They have also these vaping stuffs, and even small business.
The violence continues. In recent days, there was a drone attack which led to 2 military armed men injured, one of them critically and the other one lost his foot. Also, there was an armed cartel attack in a transit boulevard named Agricultores, which led to an armed civilian dead. The confrontation extended to several neighborhoods. In the small town of Tomo, an extremely dangerous area, they found 2 calcined bodies. Presumably, they died of an explosion of a drone attack. Banners still exposing individuals that they are in cahoots with the organized crime and are still being exposed in the middle of the city. And also, a massive criminal attack, which led to 9 executed individuals in a rehab center, which the owner was also abducted. The Secretary of Security of Mexico spoke about the attack this morning. At 1:47 this morning, we received a report from C4 in Culiacan. We have 9 people dead and 5 that are critically injured. This attack was from the organized crime who entered the premises of the rehab center, better known as Shaddai. We have 9 people that they are killed, all of them men, all of them adults. This is the information that we have until now. This attack has been already acknowledged that it was from the criminal group that is better known as Los Chapitos, attacking an organized group of their opposition, better known as Los Mayos. Leaving from Culiacan with my brother right here, Ben Berquam. We just did a coverage of the cartel war that is going on over here. I am, not in shock as a Mexican. I can tell you the only thing that is sad is to see how the cartel has completely oppressed the population over here in Culiacan. The anxiety that they're living, I cannot even imagine. The war is still continuing in the parts of the mountains. That is where the hardest confrontations are happening. The government, it is not doing absolutely nothing. The most ridiculous thing that we just found out, it was yesterday, the governor actually is living in the governmental palace in the 3rd floor, safeguarded by the military and by the government. Meanwhile, the citizens are just outside watching how the city is completely being taken over by the cartel. 2 cartels fighting over each other in an extensive way, as basically taking over the security of the city, and the government of Mexico not doing anything about it. That is the most shocking thing for me. It is that this war has been continuing hard for more than 5 months, and the actual president, it is not sending the military to say, stop it, this is enough is enough, let's get back to the peace to the citizens. More than that, the nightlife is non-existent. It is a ghost town, and at night it's 8 or 9 o'clock. The actual citizens have taken their decisions to do a curfew upon themselves, to go back home, and to basically, there's no nightlife. The collateral damage on the children also, that they are doing these emergency exercises for them. If there's a shootout, duck down, cover their heads. It's just battle around. Ben, you want to do like little opinion on what you...
yeah, it's just it's basically all for show. So you've got some military activity down here, but in talking to Aaron, the military doesn't do anything. It's sad. It's people live with Stockholm syndrome here. It's awful. The government is pretending to do something about it, but the government is complicit. Most of the government's paid off. Most of them are on one side of the cartel or the other. And so the only ones, they go after the cartel that they're not being paid off by and pretend like they're doing something about it. And the perfect example is the governor, who's hiding out in the governor's palace after speculation is he's been bought off by the cartel for years. So anyways, that's it. Heading on to our next stop. If we're going to stop this, we have to not only arrest the cartel, we have to arrest every politician that's been involved with this from the beginning.
There you have it. The thing that I take the most is what the correspondent that we were right here, he's a really experienced journalist, and he was telling me the psychological trauma that the children are suffering in the schools. It is extremely bad. You know, these emergency exercises that they're doing, it is just normalizing this conduct to make it just normal. Like the thing that we experienced, that we were driving by a really rough neighborhood, and then moments after there was a kidnapping, and everybody was like normal. There's actual video of this kidnapping, and everybody was acting normal. That's the thing that is normalized now. You see a human head in the streets, you see confrontation between two cartels. That's what we take home. So yes, we had to eliminate the dirty politicians, as I have said before. We have done multiple hits. That is the real cartel, which is ruining our country. On to our next stop. God bless you all. Thank you so much for all your support. God's plan is our mission. Take care.
As the war continues in Culiacan, this is the way the city looks around 6:30 in the morning. The war continues. The Culiacan people still have no solutions. And also our country, it is suffering from cartel violence in every state. I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Voice News, reporting from Culiacan, Mexico. Stay safe. Well, that is the report that we did on the coverage on Culiacan. You can see that it is just so extensive, and it is, a lot of information that is coming out of there. And the risk that we take every time that we go to these places is just enormous. So first and foremost, I would like to say thank you to the journalist from Culiacan, Aaron Ibarra. He's extremely elaborated and great writer for Proceso, and he has done great exposure on the corruption that is going on in our country. So thank you to him, first and foremost. Second of all, I always go to these places with my brother. It's just Ben Berquam. And, I tell him we need to go there, and he doesn't care. So we always ride together, and we always go to these places that it's just, as you see in the back of the picture, it's in the middle of the Darien Gap. We got sick, both of us, with malaria. We were talking about that in this trip. We're just talking about the consequences that we have suffered so much on these 4 years of Biden, that we exposed so much like no other network. You got to be kidding me. No other network did what we did. And, we got so sick, malaria, dengue. And when we put ourselves in these positions, like these kind of places, we're just like, we got to go and we got to see what's going on. And if there was a confrontation, we were saying to Aaron, if there's a confrontation, just get us in there. As soon as you find out, call us immediately, and we're getting in there. Of course, he's a great journalist in the part of Culiacan, and he's trying to, survive in those middle parts in his city. As this war, it is a clear copy paste of an example of what it was happening between the borders of Mexico and the United States with these open border policies, of Joe Biden and Alejandro Mayorkas, disgusting open border policies that they were basically destroying both of our countries. And it was a collateral and domino effect through the whole continent. It was just not the United States of America, it's the whole continent, right? So it's just everybody wants the greed, everybody wants the dollar. So everybody wants to go to the United States of America, and they're willing to sacrifice whatever they're willing to sacrifice for that, imaginary American dream, right? So they spend these thousands of dollars and they put themselves through torture to go to this place. And these open border policies, they open up a market that has never been seen like this, never in history before. The Biden administration as I have said so many times before, the Biden administration has made the cartel 2 times stronger in artillery, in technology, in territory, and also in infrastructure and economy. It's not a lie. It is a reality. With illegal trafficking, of drugs, with the illicit artillery, with everything that is illicit and that is illegal. Now they're using the organized crime. It's more intelligent. Now they're using influencers to funnel millions of dollars into funnel money. Hotels also they're using to funnel money. And that is how they use the influencers. They use social media, production companies of music. It is just so incredible, the market, how they have expanded so much and the power that they have, they have acquired because the government has let them to get this, this power. So it is amazing to go over there and to broadcast this. So huge shout out to our connection over there. A great job that he did, and he took us to the right particular places and the right sections that we needed to go. And I will say this, I'm not going to say everything, but there's a question. What do you mean music? I mean record companies, production companies. They own them. Narco-corridos, they own them. So we were supposed to go to this place, right? That it was really prohibited to go. And I'm just going to say this, I'm not going to explain more, but they called us and they told us, hell no. And they said no. And I will tell you why they said no. Specifically, they said no. One reason, you're a journalist, so we don't want no cameras over here. But the other reason was that there was an American. So there's 2 sides of this. If they say that it was an American, if he's white, first and foremost, the color has to do with this narco-culture, has to do a lot, right? Because they think that he's I don't know what do they think they is. But I said, yes, I'm with my boy, I'm with my brother, I'm with Ben. And they said, well, if it is an American, if he's white, it's like, what? Our contact said yes. It's like, hell no, we're not letting them in. So there's 2 sides of the story on this. So one side, it is that they're completely afraid of possibly American government getting involved and immediately, getting information that they don't want to get. That is extremely, it's a red flag for them because it's not a red flag for the American government. It's a red flag for them because you're letting everybody know that you're afraid of the American government and you're afraid of the American authorities. Basically, you're letting them know that. Second, we understand the level of protection that you are acknowledging. So that means that you are prepared for a possible interference or a possible extraction of individuals that they are causing harm to the population of Mexico and to the United States. So, this is the situation. In terms of journalists, somebody saying American government needs to get involved. No, they don't. I'm sorry, they don't. I'm sorry, you're wrong. And I'm saying, why? They're already involved involuntarily, not even infiltrating individuals. And you don't even know, intelligence, they're being open about to say there's a lot of intelligence that they're already involved. But military-wise, they're not letting them in as effective as it is because it violates the Constitution. It will create a lot of animosity in the whole continent of America. It's not just Mexico, in the whole continent. And everybody in the United States is like, I don't care, F them. Like, no. It will create a lot of animosity. And you don't want that eruption inside of the United States of America. And I will say this before I end this live, because we're going in an hour and 2 minutes, and I want to take your questions. The United States is going through a diverse of opinions right now. And we wanted to go there to expose the level of these people, how they have psychologically hijacked human beings. These statues, these evil figures, these beliefs, these, this aggressiveness of making people understand that this is okay, that this is the way of life. It was trickling, and it was a domino effect that it was willing to happen to the United States. And there were no, nothing that it was going to stop it until the next administration came in and everything, changed a little bit and changed a lot. Let's see what happens in the next incoming months. The only thing that I can tell you, there's a diverse of opinions. There's a diverse of, I don't want mass deportations. I want the mass deportations. There's a diverse of this, protest that is going on right now inside of the United States. The only thing that I can tell you is that, meanwhile, these progressive mercenary liberals are protesting and saying, we don't want law and order. We want this open borders. We want to help this. There's hundreds of thousands that they are being saved right now because of these open border policies. If Joe Biden will be president, there will be more thousands dying right now in the middle of the Darien, cartel activity, as it is in Culiacan, as we're showing you right now, cartel activity in the south in Chiapas, cartel activity in the north. So many thousands that will be dying. And the progressive liberals are so incompetent. They're so close-minded that they don't care about what is happening outside of the guidelines of what is the limitations with Mexico. They're so incompetent. They're so stupid. That's the word. They're so stupid that they don't know what is happening after the limitation. And what is happening is because you advocate for these policies, you're advocating for just a collapse, a catastrophe, more people dying. And labeling these organized groups as terrorists. I was talking to our contact over there in Culiacan, and he says, Oscar, they're beyond terrorists. And I was like, wow, why do you say that? And I like to conversate with this because why? Because they know the actual violence, right? Because I'm in Tijuana. I know the violence also. I know the violence. I know exactly the violence that he's talking about, but he is on another level of violence. And the other level of violence is confrontational. It is war. It is an actual war of heavy artillery war. I'm in another level of violence that is dismembering bodies, decapitations, all this other level of violence. But he's on the level of war. So when he says, Oscar, this is a huge problem that we got. And I tried to understand when he was telling me that, I tried to figure it out, his motive. And his motive was really, it's what is going through right now. This whole disaster. It is not just security, it's economical disaster, it's psychological disaster. The anxiety that the cartels have created, it is part of their agenda, it is part of their strategy. So the anxiety will create people to go out and radicalize against the government. It is part of it. It is all a strategy. They're not stupid. They know what they're doing. Keep people going, keep people at home. Remember COVID? how many people were like sick and tired of it, and people were like, "Oh my God, I'm so sick of this 6-step distance and the mask, and where do I family separation and all this." That escalated into people, being aggravated, a lot of people being scared, a lot suicidal, a lot of people getting, aggressive. It is exactly the same over there, but it's a warfare. And, this was escalating into going into the United States. And it was going to be a copy paste into every Democratic and blue state. That's my whole point. That's the number one reason why we went down there. How's everybody doing? Thank you so much for joining in. Oscar Blue for Real America's Voice News. I wanted to show you this video. I will upload the full video into the platform of X so you guys can share it. So you guys can share this documentary or this compilation of videos. I don't call it a documentary because it was produced by me. So I just, cut and edit, and I just wanted to put it together so we can talk about it and we can explain what is going on down there. Now, the real, documentary is going to happen with my brother and myself in it, in the network Real America's Voice News, in the show Law and Border. I don't know where and when it is going to be showcased. I don't think that it's going to take that long, but it's going to be showcased on RAP, on Real America's Voice News. Every footage that is on this video, it is for Real America's Voice News. It is our network, and we represent our network, Real America's Voice News. So, thank you so much for everybody to joining in. God bless you all. If anybody have a question, I'm willing to answer right now because of this. And I am going ultimately also to do a Spanish one that is going to be tomorrow. I'm going to do the Spanish one to be released tomorrow. So it was interesting to see it. It was really interesting to see it. Really, really interesting. There's a question right here. Then how do you arrest the mayor? It was not the mayor, it was the governor, when they had politicians being paid off to scare the cartel. Well, that's the other thing. We were talking about it. You remove the kingpins, you remove these chess pieces of the drug lords, but you never deliver the corrupt politicians. And those are the main ones that they are causing all of this harm. So we need to remove the dirty politicians. That's who we need to remove. There's a question that I'm not going to answer. Do you think mass deportations are helping or hurting Mexico? It is a topic that is off topic of what we're talking about. Híjole. It is a really difficult question because there's a lot of people that they have been 20, 30 years in the United States. So I don't know what to say about that. I'm really in between those feelings. But in terms to the shelters, they are taking care of them. They are also guiding them to their families and to also places that they can have a job. So I don't have an open opinion about it because it's a mix of emotions. A little school, you said something about Black River ban. I think it was about danger. Oscar, at the little school, you said something about Black River ban, maybe. I think it was to alert about the danger. No, it was to mourn of the two young little kids that they were assassinated, mistakenly, supposedly, by the cartel. So the Black River ban, it is, it was to mourn the two kids that they were assassinated, mistakenly, supposedly, by the organized crime. Hi, Oscar. Is the Darien Gap still active? 99% has decreased. I don't know if you have seen Andre Sosi. I have been informing and saying this for quite some time. It has decreased 99%. What do I mean with 99%? It has decreased. The transit through the Darien Gap has decreased 99%. That is a ghost town right now in there. And believe me, I will prefer to go in there with thousands of people that go in there alone. I don't want to go in there alone. Uh, Miss, oh, how you doing, Miss Justin Aker? Hi, Oscar. At the school, there were different color ribbons. Do the colors mean certain things? No, it was not a school. It was the fiscal general of the state. So that's where they were putting the rubber bands. And no, it doesn't mean anything. It's just, it's just the color that they choose. So, question: will Trump's tariffs may have any effects on the cartels? The real cartels are the government, the dirty politicians. So if it has an effect on their pockets, yes, it does. How can people remove these government officials? Híjole, it's really difficult. It's really difficult. That's our swamp. If your guy's swamp, it is deep. Our swamp, it is 1 million times more deeper. So it's it's really difficult, but we can accomplish it. Everything is accomplishable. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Voice News. I answered some questions. It is 6:15 in the evening. God bless you all. It is April 8th, Tuesday, 6:15. It is nice to say hello to you guys. This has been a broadcast showcasing you guys what I broadcast in this cartel war Culiacan coverage. So hope that you guys enjoyed it. God bless you guys. Stay safe. And the donation link is on the top. Buy me a coffee. Like always, if you guys like to contribute to my independent reporting and travel fund, it is right there pinned in the chat. Thank you so much. God bless you. Stay safe. And like we always say, God's plan, it is our mission.